We just had the largest sell-off in XRP history, and in this video, I want to talk about why it happened and what comes next. Guys, not a lot of people are talking about the real reason why I think what just happened took place. And in this video, I want to show you some of the things that were going on behind the scenes, as well as share with you a very interesting theory at the end of the video. Guys, we are going through something right now that I think a lot of people aren't paying close enough attention to. In this video, I want to talk about the sell-off we just saw and what it really means moving forward. Like always, your support means so much to this channel. Thank you to everyone who takes the time to like these videos and subscribe to the channel. These two simple things really do help me out so much. Also, if you ever need a place to buy some XRP, make sure to check out my favorite exchange Uphold down in the description of this video. With that said, let's jump right into it, and I hope you guys enjoy the content. So guys, I want to start out this video and just talk about something weird and something that I was definitely not expecting to see. And that was a very cryptic tweet by Jack Dorsey. Now, Jack Dorsey is a Bitcoin OG, and he's never been a fan of XRP. He's always been kind of an anti-XRP person. But today he put something on his profile that was fascinating. And I really haven't come up with any logical conclusion for what this was meant to mean. But I wanted to share it with you guys and see if anyone in the comment section had some kind of theory for why we are seeing this. So this was posted by Jack Dorsey on a Bitcoin social media kind of forum. And what it is an AI generated post of Michael Saylor. But I want you to watch this video because, as we know, Jack Dorsey is a huge Bitcoiner. Michael Saylor is a new guy in the Bitcoin ecosystem, but is slowly becoming the largest person in the Bitcoin ecosystem. And I just want to play you this post because there is no explanation for this. There was not a lot of people coming out and giving any logical conclusions, and I thought it was absolutely fascinating. So watch this and we'll break it down. So here we have Michael Saylor transforming into an XRP token. Now, on its surface, right, like obviously Michael Saylor is not going to turn into an XRP token. But why Jack Dorsey posted this, I think, is pretty fascinating. Does he know something about Michael Saylor getting involved with XRP? Has he heard something behind the scenes? It just seems like such a weird post unless Jack Dorsey knew something. Unless he was using that as some kind of weird, hey, like Michael Saylor, whatever, like this is a weird insult I'm throwing at you. But I don't think that's what it was. It was just a very interesting cryptic post. And to see someone like Jack Dorsey even really mentioning XRP and then tying it to Michael Saylor, it just seems to me like there has to be something a bit more there. So I just wanted to bring it to your attention. I'm really curious if anyone has seen anything, knows anything in regards to why that was posted, but it was definitely out of the norm. And to be tying it to someone like Michael Saylor, right? I could see Jack Dorsey posting it for someone who's recently flipped and been very pro XRP recently, who used to be anti XRP. That would make a lot of sense. But to see Jack Dorsey posting that on Michael Saylor, I just thought it was really, really interesting. And I'm super curious to see what we're going to find out later on in regards to this. So let's move on now and talk about the sell-off we saw, because guys, this was a historic sell-off. And if you kind of went through that sell-off and you were kind of like shaken up a little bit, well, I want you to know you just went through the largest XRP downward wick in history, the largest XRP single day down wick we have ever seen. So if you made it through this and you came out relatively unfazed, if you're still holding XRP, pat yourself on the back. You went through some historic history right there. It was a crazy event. And these are just the kind of things you get in cryptocurrency, right? These markets are hyper volatile, hyper liquid. They can trade 24/7. People can get XRP in and out of these exchanges in less than 3 seconds. And you get these crazy wild moves. But I think it's really important that people understand what is kind of going on behind the scenes here and why we saw that. And also, if you did make it through that, if you panicked a little bit, if you're like, what the heck is going on? Pat yourself on the back. This is what happens in crypto. We've never seen a downward candle of this magnitude before. And I think everyone who's kind of made it through that now and kind of got slapped around a little bit deserves to pat themselves on the back and say, wow, well, welcome to crypto, right? But let's talk about why that just happened, because it was a really, really weird event. And this guy Dom on X has been posting some excellent analysis of what's been going on. And I want you to take a look at this. Essentially, what Dom is posting here is that we essentially saw 300 million of net selling into an empty order book. Take a look at this order book right here. What these lines are on the screen are where there's large institutional purchases set in place to essentially buy the dip. And what you can see is last night we essentially had the order book completely cleaned out. People deleted their buys going into this massive sell. At the same exact time, we had tons and tons of people funneling into the market, creating one of the biggest liquidation events we have ever seen in crypto. Now, in my opinion, it's fairly obvious what was going on here. This is a game that whales are playing against each other. These order books are open. The whales can see where people get liquidated. And if there's a certain player that people are trying to take out, they can remove a lot of the order book buys and crash the price essentially into oblivion until people can come in and spot buy the market. The big difference between these orders that are set and people coming in and spot buying is the orders just automatically trigger. The second XRP starts falling into these orders, it's just automatically repurchased and bought back up. But because the order book was cleaned out, XRP was able to essentially just keep falling until people were able to take cash, get it into the exchange, and start purchasing the dip. So what this did was it totally wiped everyone out who was playing on margin, playing on leverage, and these big players were able to come in and scoop up the dip because they were able to be prepared for this and buy all of the blood. So what I think this really was nothing more than a big whale game. Whales knew that certain players were over leveraged in certain areas, and they knew if they cleaned out the order book and hit it on a time like going into a Monday or Sunday night, they could really, really tank the market. You can get crypto into an exchange almost instantaneously, right? Send XRP, it's there in 3 seconds. But in order to get cash into an exchange, your bank might not be open. You have all these different things, especially if you're moving very, very large volume. And they were able to take advantage of that and clearly wipe some people out. So this was absolutely fascinating to see. And I think the more important question we need to be asking is, why did this occur now, right? Like, what was the impetus to get this done? Yes, it could have just been some whale games, but I find it extremely interesting. And I don't think it's a coincidence that it looks like we are going to be getting a major cryptocurrency announcement tomorrow from David Sachs. He's going to be talking about how cryptocurrencies can be used to strategically position the United States as a leader tomorrow at 2:30. What I think was likely happening is some of these big whales have a beat on what might be in this release. They might know some of this information, and they looked at it as, hey, this might be our last time to come in and do some massive market buys. Let's play with the market a little bit. Let's get our orders where we want them. Let's flush out a lot of the people who are sitting on essentially over leverage, and let's come in and buy that blood. To me, this right here is one of the biggest bullish catalysts we could see for the cryptocurrency market. And to see these games being played right before that happens, I don't think that's a coincidence. Now, if we take a look at how XRP is responding now, I mean, this is exactly what you want to see. And this is just further indication that this is nothing more than a game. This was not some situation where we continued to close red candles and continued to cascade down. All the money came rushing back in. We are up 50% since the low of where this thing went. More than 50%. We were up 57% at one point from the low. These are people who said, okay, we flushed the market, and now your XRP is our XRP. We now own all the XRP. While all this happened, the amount of whales holding more than 1 million XRP jumped up. The people who were holding less than 1 million XRP got flushed out. So in my opinion, this looks like a game. This looks like a shakeout. This looks like people who know there might be something very important coming out tomorrow at 2:30. And therefore, hey, let's wipe everyone out and let's take their crypto. I found this super interesting, but just how the market is reacting to all of this, I mean, guys, this is whale games behind the scenes. And if XRP had continued to close red candles and we saw the entire cryptocurrency market pushing lower and lower, right, that would be a completely different story. But to actually close this candle green and continue to have momentum to the upside, guys, there's games being played behind the scenes here. And I think this is one of those scenarios where you just have to save into your memory, right? You need to understand that there's big players behind the scenes who can move these markets. And if you get caught up with these micro liquidation events, if you get caught up playing against players who are much bigger, right, you're going to put yourself in some dangerous positions. So wanted to bring that to your attention. It was really, really interesting to see, but I don't think enough people are giving credit to how bullish it is, how quickly this got bought back up, how quickly we recovered. Now, I want to share with you one last note here that's a bit conspiracy theory-esque, but it's just one of those things where I was looking at it and it's like, man, I don't know if we can really ignore this. And this is this post right here. Now, what this is on the left is a chart that David Schwartz posted maybe like a year and a half ago now, probably when we were down in this area right here, or right here on XRP. And what it is a random chart. And he said, I don't know what this is, but I sure wished I owned some. And what you see is we kind of went through this sideways accumulation. We had a big pump. We had a huge flush out, and then it ripped. Now, let's take a look at what XRP is doing right now. It's trading sideways. It ripped upward, pulled back kind of in this chop zone, went up a bit more, had that huge liquidation event. And guys, this could have gone down way lower, right? It could have gone, it was impossible to tell exactly if this was coming all the way down here, whether it stopped here, right? But then what we see is the next thing is that next massive leg up. And it just seems to me like it's a little bit too much of a coincidence to look at these charts right next to each other and say, hey, this is just random, right? This is just, look at that. It's crazy. They look exactly the same. It's not like David Schwartz is always posting charts and it's just sometimes lining up, it's sometimes not. Just thought it was a very, very interesting post. To me, it seems like a little bit more than a coincidence. We'll see what ends up taking place. To me, it almost seems like the catalysts are now aligning to get some kind of big announcement, to get that crypto strategic reserve, to get some implementation for policy in the United States to take this thing a leg higher. And the move we saw yesterday, what we can see was more of a technical flush out rather than anything fundamentally wrong or broken in the industry. Guys, if you made it through that, pat yourself on the back. I know it's scary. I know it's like, what the heck is going on? But this is crypto. Welcome. Think of this as your initiation. And what you'll notice is probably, in my opinion, in a month or two, you're going to be looking back at that event and saying, why the heck did I panic? I should have been loading my bags. Guys, thank you so much for coming. For now, Mickle out.